Hey guys, thank you for stopping by my channel today. I received my Sephora haul, I received my Sephora box from the VIB Sale 2018 this year. I've been playing around with these guys for a little bit, so I kind of have just like my first impressions and just kind of a little bit of like a mini review. Some of them I definitely still want to keep talking about, but I thought I would share. Because I also am probably gonna add this past weekend was the first weekend for VIB Rouge. Kind of embarrassed that I'm a VIB Rouge. There's a lot of money to spend on makeup. But anyway, so that was the first weekend, and now this upcoming weekend will be the part 2 of the sale, and I might decide that I'm going to add a couple more things. I think the rouges can buy again. I'm not very down. I didn't receive the memo about the specific rules on the Sephora sale, but regardless, I'm gonna give it a shot. And that being said, there are still a couple other things that I'm thinking about getting, and it would not have made my original shopping list or shopping cart at Sephora.com look quite as large as it was. And so we're just gonna split it up in two, because when you split it up in two, it sounds so much friendlier. Let me share with you a number of the things that I got that were repurchases very briefly, and I mentioned a lot of this in my recommendations video, which I will link. Go check that out. But I did get another one of the Hoola bronzers by Benefit. I use this everywhere. I use it to contour, I use it to bronze, I use it as my transition shade, I will use it as an all over lid shade. I do not go anywhere without this guy, and so I got a smaller one because I usually pop it out of this ridiculous cardboard container and will put it like in one of my like Z palettes or whatever. I have currently a full-size one that I will use with a large bronzer brush, but I like the idea that this is smaller, and sometimes I'm not using the Hoola as my bronzer, and so I like to have options. Okay, so I also got, and I mentioned this in my video, I got by Marc Jacobs the Highliner Gel Eye Crayon, perfect for lining the inner rims of the upper and lower parts of your eye. It is probably the best one that I have experienced to stay in place. And let me just say, it's kind of interesting because you'll hear other people talk about like a different kind of liner and they're like, oh my God, it totally stays in place. I think our eyes have something to do with that. I don't think that someone is right or wrong when they say that one of the eyeliners works better for them or it's the only one for them that doesn't, you know, smear or make a mess. I think the moisture in our eye has something to do with that. And there I am being kind to eyeliners all over. I was hesitant to purchase another one of the Diorshow Blackout mascaras. This is the all black tube, not the waterproof, the regular. I like how that sounds in there. It sounds like dice. Anyway, I was on the fence about buying another one, and then I thought I could always change my mind later because the drugstore really does have really good mascaras, but I love a wet mascara and I love a completely volumizing mascara, and nothing compares to this. A lot of people don't like the non-wet. Like for example, the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal. Now, I love L'Oreal mascaras, but the Lash Paradise, I can't stand it because it's a drier formula and it clumps. And originally I liked it. And I remember talking about it, about how, I think I did a video about how it was very similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I also don't like that one, it turns out. And so I definitely like a wet mascara. I bought it. I'm annoyed. It has gone up approximately $5 in price since I first started buying it about 10 years ago. That is not enough time to go up, at that point, 25% of the price. That is a large inflation there. I did get another Becca Hydra Mist. Now I have 2 backups. I don't even want to say obsessed because honestly I cannot stand that word because everybody uses it on YouTube. So I'm going to try to be a little different. I'm not going to say obsessed. I'm addicted to it. Like, I look forward to doing my makeup because this powder finishes it off so nicely. And I think 2 is good enough. I think now, you know, the initial sellout based on the initial release, I think is over. So I think it will be readily available, but now it was on sale. And this thing blends in my makeup, smooths me out. I did a video on it. Please go check it out because I am a freak show in it with the way it first felt when I applied it. But that guy, I have never found a powder as good. I don't think I'm ever going to try any other powders. I feel like that's a lie. That's not what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say was I feel like there's never been anything as good as that, and I can't possibly imagine there being anything, but it's a lie that I'm not gonna try something else. Of course I'm gonna try something else. I did get another of the Laura Mercier foundations, the Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Foundation I mentioned in my recommendation video. It's actually what I'm wearing today. I absolutely love it because it is the same idea in essence as the Urban Decay All Nighter. Full coverage, long wearing, a hair. It's not, I wouldn't say it's mattifying, it's kind of satiny, but this is a little bit thinner and feels much better and does last throughout the day much longer. I heard that something about how, because they call it fusion, because something about how it's supposed to fuse with the essence of whatever it is on the top layer of the skin on your face. I have no idea. But all I know is it performs really, really nicely. And just as reference, I am the shade 2W1 Macadamia. Okay, I also got by Fresh one of the Sugar lip balms, lip treatments officially. I love that it's got SPF in it. I always hesitate and wait to buy this on sale because it's like $24. That is ridiculous. But I love the creamy consistency. It doesn't feel waxy. It's thicker than Vaseline is because I hate Vaseline. I love the smell or the scent of it. And I love the SPF. And so wait for that bad boy to be on sale. You are good to go. I did get another one of the Sol de Janeiros. I got the small. I know there was a 3 set. There was also a larger one. And I'm like, you know, I already have one small and I love it. But I'm fickle. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna love it 3 more tubs at a time or one massive 8-ounce tub at a time. I do have a variety of others. I like to change it up, but I do love it enough that I wanted another one. I know the smaller you buy, the less cost effective it is, but I figure on sale that totally justifies it. I got by Elizabeth and James their Nirvana white scent. What do they call it? Nirvana, yeah, it's Nirvana white, yes. I like that this is an Eau de Parfum. It better be because it's like very expensive. That being said, I know everybody loves the black one. I find that the black one is just, it's very thick. And it's very like musky. And so the notes, I'm not even gonna try to explain this because that would be ridiculous. But basically there's peony in it, which I do enjoy the smell of. There is a musk accent to it and something called Mugu. I have no idea what that is. Maybe that's what makes this so enticing. I have no idea. They call it, if I was selecting this by description, they call it a powdery floral, both of which I hate. And then this one, I don't know, I just love it. And so I waited for it to be on sale. Like I said, I know everybody likes the dark one. Then they have 2 other ones, which are like a rose and a maroon. So I don't even know what they're called. I didn't even pay attention because I smelled those and equally did not like those. But I definitely enjoy the white. And so I was happy to get that. Okay, I got by The Ordinary. I think in my recommendation video, I mentioned that I was looking to buy the Buffet, which is kind of like an all-encompassing anti-aging one. That one was sold out at the time. I have already gone through a bottle and then as a result bought another bottle of the Matrixyl 10% with hyaluronic acid. Matrixyl basically is, I believe it's a peptide. I don't care what it is. I don't care what its classification is. I know it is definitely an anti-aging thing. And so with the presence of the hyaluronic acid in there too, which is a tremendous moisturizer, I find that my skin feels really nice about this. I'm considering doing, or I'm prepping a chit chat about kind of the idea of, for example, this is very inexpensive. I think it was $11. And so I question and wonder, does that mean that it's good or not? Because it's not, I don't know, 50 bucks the way my Ulla Henriksen Truth Serum is. And so I've got kind of a conversation about that coming up. And so anyway, right now I'm loving The Ordinary. Matrixyl, by the way, it comes with an eyedropper, a white eyedropper. This actually is a little pressy, what the heck would you call this? A pump dispenser. That's what it's called. This one is a pump dispenser. What I did was, I do not have time in the morning for eyedroppers. And so what I did was I purchased from Amazon one of these amber kind of essence bottles, which come with the little pump, and I bought the same size. This is 1 ounce, and so I bought a 1 ounce. This is not a 1 ounce bottle, by the way. This is 2 ounces, but for demonstration purposes, I bought the 1 ounce bottle as well, and therefore it fits in very nicely, and I don't have to worry about using that stupid, what are you supposed to do with the eyedropper? You're supposed to like drop it all over your face. I don't have time for that. So a couple of new things that I got. And my immediate impressions on them. I got by Laura Mercier, her version of, I think she calls it an illuminator, face illuminator. I've been loving Laura. And so I'd never had one of her highlighters. This is the shade, hold on. This is the shade Devotion, which is kind of a pink shift to it. They also have a gold. The gold, because I have olive tone skin, sometimes winds up just looking dirty. And then I have to be careful when it comes to pink ones if they are too silver. So my impression of this highlighter, let me swatch it. My impression of this highlighter, it totally was not what I was expecting. It is pinky tinted. It is not obnoxious. It is not like check out your highlighter from the moon sort of situation. It's a hair glittery. It's also not as opaque as I thought it would be. It's almost like sheer. And so I appreciate all of those components except for the little bits of glitter. And also it's a hair silver. I am wearing it today, but I put it on ever so lightly. And so the verdict is not in yet. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna try it with different blushes, different looks. I wanna see how it plays out throughout the summer. But kind of not what I was expecting from Laura. Generally, I'm typically very blown away by her stuff, and this one has me in a little bit of a debate, but happy I got it. Another compact that I picked up was by Marc Jacobs. This is his Air Blush, very fancy. This is the shade Flesh and Fantasy. So this is kind of the most subtle one that he offers. I love this. Love it. I don't know what Marc is doing in his factories, but his powder is perfection. Whether it's his eyeshadow, whether it's his bronzer, and now whether or not it's his blush, it is gorgeous. I am also wearing that today. And I favored kind of the pink side, but kind of the pink side to the middle side with my brush, because I don't like a super shimmery blush, but I don't necessarily like it matte all the time ever as well, because I'm trying to add a little bit of illumination to my face, and since I try to mattify the whole entire rest of it, I've kind of been looking for almost like a shimmery, but not like super reflective blush. So anyway, I love that I've got control with this. And then I have played with this at the end. It's a little difficult like to get your brush in there. But honestly, because you're applying it over your blush, what I've been doing is I've been using this down here as my highlighter. And it kind of, because you get a little bit of the pink blush in it at the same time, it just kind of winds up blending it in very nicely. You guys know I don't love like a huge highlighter. And so let me see if I can get just kind of an all over swatch of it. It's pretty pale. Where is it? It's kind of right here. It's pretty pale, which I like. It's a hair warmer than Madly by NARS, which is also kind of a pale blush. And I do enjoy a pale blush. I am loving this. It was probably ridiculously overpriced, but that's okay. I'm all right with it, because if you make good stuff, I'm good with that. Okay, another powder product that I got, and this I didn't talk about. I decided this last minute. I bought one of the palettes by Mcgrath, and this is one of the smaller ones because she has larger ones, I believe. Honestly, I'm not even really sure, because I just knew that they were just so expensive that there was no chance I was going to consider them. So this is one of the smaller ones. It's called the Mothership. It's actually called the Mothership because she took out the vowels. There's no vowels in Mothership. Whatever. Mothership Sublime. This is the Bronze Ambition palette. So this is one of the, how am I going to show you guys this? This is one of those palettes where you're going to need another palette or another series of shadows to complement it, because these are all shimmer with the exception of this brown kind of right down here, which is kind of an earthy, almost like orangey peach brown. I'm actually not quite sure. Well, you know, honestly, I don't know. I'm not quite sure why that brown is in here. I would have actually preferred that they were all just shimmer. If you're gonna go that route, there are 5 shimmers and then the 1 matte, but whatever. You'll need a transition shade, you'll need a brow highlight shade, and I typically prefer having a matte outer corner color. I am wearing, by the way though, I am wearing not a majority of this palette, but where I was applying on my eyes, I've got this dark shade here. Woo! I have this dark shade in the outer third of my eye, which I did temper a little bit with that matte shade right next to it. So I kind of mixed those together. And then on my lid, I have this very pale sort of champagne-y shade, which is just kind of a champagne-y sort of gold. I put that on my lid and then I complemented with some other shadows. Let me do one more swatch of this kind of rosy gold shade. Oh, that's bright. So here's my comment. I think they're beautiful. I mean, clearly they're beautiful shadows. I think the matte shade is a little splotchy. I'm not quite sure why, because I expect, from what I've heard, she's Pat. We're on a first name. Is it a she? I don't even know if it's a she. Well, anyway, Pat. From what I've heard, Pat makes fabulous shadows, and I expected more out of the matte shade. The shimmers are beautiful, but I'm kind of just, I'm like, okay, they're great. So this was, again, this was more like a first impression. And I should say, you know, they're great, but yet the base price was like $55, and that's high. Like, I want to be 100% completely blown away, and my initial impression was that I was not. And so I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to continue using it, even if the 1 matte shade pisses me off every time. Okay, so just a couple other things. I mentioned in my recommendations video that I was picking up the Tarte Chrome Paint Shadow Pot. This is the shade Martini. That actually is the cover, and that's a gold shiny cover. This is the shade Martini. So when I first got the box, I was so excited. This was probably the thing that I was most excited about. And I opened it, and you know when you untwist something for the first time, you're like, push, 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 and then it goes. Yeah, well, so did the color and pigment all over. I didn't realize it was going to be as loose as it was. I guess I was thinking it was more like I want to blow on it. Let me see if I can show you without the whole thing going everywhere. I want to blow on it to get it off the perimeter of the jar, but I'm afraid I'm gonna blow it everywhere. Okay, so it is really soft. Now, I don't even like loose face powder. This thing frightens me. A couple of you guys commented when I mentioned I was interested in getting it. Oh, that color is so pretty. So what's cool is it's kind of like a neutral gold with this essence of this kind of olive green undertint to it. So rather than it be just a very obnoxious like green, which I enjoy sometimes, but this I feel like will give me a little bit more use because it's got a basis of gold. So as I was saying, I don't even like loose like face powder, like loose setting powders and stuff. So I'm afraid of this. Maybe I will use this for the first time on camera with you guys. What do you think? Maybe I'll do like a get ready with me, not a tutorial, but like a get ready with me. I think I've got some like glitter glue. I think you'll need that to do this. I've never done it before because I don't really have the patience, but this really impressed me and everybody was talking a lot about it. So we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, I got 2 lip products as well. I mentioned that I was getting by Stila. This is the Stay All Day liquid lipstick. I got the shade Caramello. I am wearing that today. I like this doe foot applicator. It's longer than usual. I like the smell. It has a very pleasant smell. It is very thick. But it goes on very nicely, and it is very opaque. It is not splotchy though at all. That's the shade Caramello. Do I think it's remarkably different than some of the other liquid lipsticks? No, I can kind of feel like I'm getting the line in between my 2 lips right now. So that makes me not super excited, but then again, it's a long wear lipstick and I've had this on for actually a handful of hours. I'm not quite sure how it's, you know, once you pass that like point, like it's kind of like, okay, you almost need to take it off and like reapply. But if you want a long wearing lipstick, I really enjoy the color though. And so therefore I will be keeping it because I have a number of liquid lipsticks, but nothing quite this shade. The one I have by Anastasia, what is that one called? I think it's called Undressed. It's similar, but very pale. So this one has a little bit more tint to it, and I enjoy that. The last thing that I purchased was by Bite Beauty. These are the Agave lip masks. I already have been through 2 tubes of the no color one. I love this stuff. It smells good. It tastes good. Yes, you can have a little taste when it's on your lips. Don't taste it from the tube, ew. But it moisturizes my lips overnight like nothing else ever has. And so I am a super fan of this. So what I decided to do was I got the color in Champagne. So it's kind of it's a pink shade. It's like a pinky shade that describes it as some gold reflect to it. And so I actually have that layered over the Caramello right now by Stila. I have it kind of in the center of my lips just to give it a little bit of moisture, but you can also use it by itself. I have a retractable lip brush. This is old school Sephora. I don't even think you can get it anymore. I love how you just, and you can get this, I think e.l.f. makes one, it's black. But I love how the lip brush just retracts right inside and you don't have to worry about a cap or anything. And I do use that to apply it because I am using it as my, let's say, pigment during the day on my lips, and I don't want to be touching my lips in the middle of the day without being able to wash my hands. That would be gross. And so I am a super fan of the Bite Beauty lip masks just in general. So now I'm happy that I have the naked one and now the kind of slightly shimmery one. A couple of things that I'm considering, and I have a couple of other products here in front of me to remind myself to talk about what I want to tell you about. Oh, actually this I have the sample of, and I've really been enjoying it, and I really think I want to try the full size. This is the Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. I find this to be better than the Benefit Professional. I do find it to be pretty mattifying, but not grossly mattifying. I don't care that it's supposed to have like I don't feel the cooling. I don't really smell the peachiness. I just like it for its skin prepping capabilities. And so I think I'm gonna get full size of that. I have a number of different foundation brushes that I like just depending on the mood. I have some soft ones, I have flathead kabuki ones, and I've got this one by Morphe. This is the M439. No, Sephora does not sell Morphe, but I like that it is a kind of dense but soft big round head. Tarte makes a brush that is very similar but bigger. And so I like a very big brush. I have a broad face, I feel. And so anything to make the process go a little bit easier. And since I like this one so much, and since it's on sale, I think I'm gonna try the very large Tarte brush. I think it's got a very the Airbrush Finish Bamboo Foundation Brush. That is a mouthful right there. That guy looks like this. So he's the one with the little brown handle. He has a very broad, but from what I understand, very soft head. And so I'm excited about that. I mentioned the primer. Oh, I'm also considering by Laura Mercier because I love the foundation so much. She's got a primer, the Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear I'm sorry, not a primer. She's got a concealer, the Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. Now, I've never made a point in the past to match my foundation to the kind of concealer that I'm using. And in fact, I've been using the Tarte Shape Tape, which I think is nice. I'm using it and not so much the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer because I cannot stand the shade options of the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. There's nothing between my skin tone and something a little lighter before it goes to a totally pink undertone. So I don't know. So I'm considering picking up one of those concealers by Laura Mercier because I heard that that was actually really good too. And if it's anywhere close to how fabulous her foundation is, then I'm all over that. By the way, I just want to say, I am so over drugstore foundations. I can't take it anymore. The shade selection is awful. And I'm not even talking about from light to dark, which is a whole other controversy in and of itself, but there is hardly any yellow undertoned foundations at the drugstore. And even when they are seemingly yellow undertone, the ones that I'm thinking about are the L'Oreal Infallible, the Pro Matte in particular. The lightest olive toned foundation is so dark. It's like 2 to 3 shades darker than my skin. And I know you can mix. I don't got time to mix. I don't feel like doing that when I'm trying to get ready for work. And so what I find with the higher end foundations, not only are they beautiful foundations, but for many of them, I get a much broader shade selection. I have gotten rid of the L'Oreal Infallible. I've gotten the Pro Matte. I've gotten rid of the Rimmel. I'm getting rid of the Rimmel. Actually, I got it right here. The Lasting Finish, which so many people like because it's too pink. It's too neutral toned. I got rid of... oh, what is that one called? Maybelline. I cannot find anything from Maybelline that I enjoy. None of them. The Matte and Poreless, everybody raves about that. I cannot use it. Anyway, my point is I am so tired of trying to fight with drugstore foundations that I'm sticking to what I know and love already. And so that is what I got at the Sephora haul and a couple of other things that I'm considering, but I've got some time in between, so that might entirely change. What did you guys wind up getting, or what are you planning on getting? I'm so curious. Please help me add to my list because I don't need to retire. I just need to look good every day that I have to go to work until the day I die, hopefully many years later. But my skin and my face will be gorgeous. I will just be broke. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below. Also let me know of any other videos that you're interested in seeing. What do you think about me using the paint pot maybe as a kind of first exploration in how to deal with that messiness that's in there. Do me a favor, just because I don't regularly post, hit that notification bell so that you do know when it is I do finally, or not finally, but when I do actually post. I told you I cannot plan my life. I sure as anything cannot plan my video posting schedule. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so that way I know what I'm doing well or not, or what direction to go. Anyway, thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I will see you next time. Thanks.
Forever, I have a couple of, I have a hair that's tickling my nose. Oh my god. I have forever been, I have a number of, I'm totally distracted by the, oh my god. Oh my god, I have to blow my nose, but I so don't want to wipe the foundation off of the 2 little pinch points on my nose, because then it would look like I have 2 little red marks right on the side of my nose, which would imply that I was playing with my nose, which I was not. Simply blowing it because of the crazy allergies. Alright, so hopefully there will be no sneezing if I don't blow. Here we go, without a blow. Oh, that's